What is up, YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. Today's video, and this is a very important video. I know this video is probably not going to get a lot of views, but I think this might be the most important video I drop on the channel. I don't know why I was waiting to make this vid, but I've been implementing this more into my daily routine when it comes to Madden. I know pretty much every very smart person I know with Madden that's good with coins uses this pretty much when it comes to selling off cards in my Discord. And it's lazy selling. You might have heard this term. It's not talked about a lot. I got this term from FIFA. Kind of brought this over. I know it's not a new term, right? There's been people have been doing this. They kind of just don't you might do this. You just might not realize that you're doing this. But lazy selling is kind of a technique when it comes to selling cards to what we call lazy buyers. So let's get into the video definition. We're gonna go to school a little bit. What is lazy selling? So lazy selling is the art or the process of selling a card for not the lowest price at that given card. So per example, very easy example, 85 overall Campus Hero 2 cards. If you just look them up as a generic filter, 84 to 85, you're going to see the cheapest up is about 6.2k. If you filter down and do position by position, you're going to see the cheapest is 5,000 coins. So how can we take advantage of that? Well, if you have an 85 overall Campus Hero, you're not going to want to list it for 4.9k. You can list it for 6.2, 6.3, 6.4k, and it will still sell because there's a lot of people that don't filter down by position when it comes to a mass filter or a card needed for a set or a card needed for training. So another example of this is going to be the 94 overall Campus Hero 2 players. Now this card isn't used for a set. This card is going to be used for probably quick selling for training, to do rerolls, all that stuff. You're going to see the cheapest up right now is at 149k, 150k, 152. Really, probably the cheapest up is like 153, 154. If we filter down now by, I think I'm going to go through programs first, or I'm going to go basically show you the cheapest right now, or just the base 94 overall cards seem to be going for about 150, 153k. If we go program now, and we're going to go to Campus Heroes 2 and just filter down a little bit more, you're going to see cheapest is 145. If I even go down even further, we go, I think all offense or all defense. Here we go, all defense. You're going to see the cheapest is 140. So if you have a Brad Van Pelt in your binder, you might have pulled from a reroll or whatever, and you see the cheapest up is 140, you'll probably list that card up for 139k, but you're losing out on like 10,000 coins pretty easily just by listing it for 150, 152k, because if you just generically look at the 94, 95 filter, if someone would just go buy training, they would see the cheapest one might be 153k at the time, and they'll buy it, they'll quick sell, they won't filter down. Now, don't ask me who buys these cards. I don't really know. There's a lot of casuals when it comes to Madden, especially the auction house. But when it comes to lazy selling, there actually are some rules. You can't do this with every card. You can't do this at certain times a day. There are some rules. So the first rule when it comes to lazy selling, the filter you are selling into must be under 59 minutes. This is pretty much crucial. This can't be happening because if it's at the 59-minute mark, by the way, you can tell time remaining, filter it to the top of the filter, or I think you just press X on Xbox and it'll show you. If you're at the 59th minute, well, then you're seeing cards listed that are brand new, so they'll actually be listing them for the cheapest of that respective card. But if they aren't, you're not going to see the cheapest cards, because normally, let's say the cheapest cards of a certain card would get bought if they're the cheapest. You guys get what I'm saying? So if they aren't, they kind of just get filtered down into a mass filter. So a 90-91 is at 43 minutes. The 92-93 filter is at 40 minutes. Now, why is this important? Well, when we go to list a card up, and after about 20-30 minutes, they'll appear on this filter. And when they appear on this filter, well, this filter is a little bit more expensive than an individual filter. So they'll be buying these cards at kind of an elevated price, but they don't even realize it that they're buying at an elevated price. Now, I kind of skipped over it. Rule number 2, you got to do this during peak hours, because in the middle of the night, cards aren't really being listed that much. The time, it might be 59th minute as well. Not a lot of people are actually just be buying cards. And then the rule number 3, and this is very important, this does not work on power-ups or unique cards. So a unique card in my eyes is a card that is significantly above training value. So if someone was to go buy a Chase Edmonds, they're not going to just go look up 94, 95 and see the cheapest Chase Edmonds and buy him. If you're buying a very expensive card, a unique card for your team that's not training, because training, you're buying at an overall, you're not buying a certain player. They will individually look up that Chase Edmonds and buy him. Same thing goes for a power-up. If you're going to go buy a power-up, you're not buying a 75 overall power-up. You're like, oh, I'm powering up this player. No, you're going to individually look up a certain name, position. You're going to individually filter down to that certain card and that certain power-up, and then buy the cheapest option. So this works best on set cards, or I'd say training cards, like 90 overalls, 91 overalls that go for training discard. So I'm going to show you now a few examples when it comes, because I'm telling you, man, this works for almost every single card. I'd say above, not even above 85 overall, because a very basic example, and I showed in this video, is gold cards, right? If you do pups, gaps. If you do get a player and you get up to 75, 79 golds, instead of just individually listing those cards, you might look them up. They might be 700 coins, and you press LB. You can just list them for 1,000 coins, and they will sell. But here's a good example: Dave Robinson, who I pulled in a reroll on stream. The cheapest one up right now is 143,000 coins. What I will do now is go to the 94.95 filter, because 94s are bought a lot for training, so they're going to be bought at a frequent amount. Not necessarily the name, but the overall. So we go individually look up Dave Robinson. He's 143. If you go to the 94.95 filter, he's 143, 145. But what you want to do is you want to scroll down so you start to see cards that are actually expiring on a time limit. You can see a 94 overall for 155 expires. Now I'm doing this in the middle of the night. This is probably not the best example of this, but you can see like the cards at 151, 152, they're not really going under 30 minutes, which means they're getting bought pretty much before they expire at 151, 152. You even see with Dave Robinson up for 143. So what I would do, and you can see one got bought for 150k, so instead of listing it like I normally would for 142, I'm gonna list it for 156. And remember, you gotta list it for 1 hour, because if you list it for 24 hours, they're not going to be showing up on that generic filter. It's a key thing to list at the 1 hour mark, so they pop up on the generic overall filter, or the generic bow nose filter when it comes to that example. Now, another example will be a set card. So a bow nose 86 overall. I'll look up a few examples. Franco Harris, like 8.5, looks more around 8,000 coins. Sean Taylor, I think I click LB on it. Well, if you're gonna list these cards, you probably list them for 8.3. Sean Taylor's 8.9. It's a little bit expensive. These actually were not that good examples. So if you actually go on the market and see the 86 overall bow nose players, you'll see the cheapest one, or if you just do the 86, 87 filter generically, the cheapest one is 9,000 coins. It looks like really anything under 10,000 coins will sell at an 86 overall. And if I go program to bow nose, if I were to just pretty much sell at the cheapest bow nose price, it'd be more around the 8k mark. So I'd be losing out on extra 1.5, 1.7k. If I were to list Sean Taylor and Franco Harris for 7.8, that'd be the cheapest bow nose players. Yes, they'd sell very fast, but I'm losing out on 2,000 coins, because these, remember, you gotta understand, these set cards are not being bought for their player. They're being bought for a set. In this set, for example, you need 30 of these cards. They're not going to be buying these cards one at a time. They're buying like 10 to 15 if we're being honest. So Franco Harris, I would list for 9.9. And when I say these cards probably sell 80 to 90% of the time, if you list for the right price, they do. And well, if they don't sell, man, if this doesn't work for whatever reason for you, you can just disregard this entire video. Never use this again. But I promise, man, just try it out. Try listing cards up for lazy seller. It's not that hard to figure out the price. Good example, or perfect examples of this are the reroll guys. We got 85 overall Campus Hero 2s, which I showed in the very beginning of this video, the 86 bow nose cards, which I just showed right now, and we're probably getting playoff rerolls next week, and it's going to be a very important part of my reroll process. We'll be lazy selling the cheap overalls. And then for a last and final example, Ronnie Brown, I believe that is, he's going for about 57, 58k. We're going to go, and now Ronnie Brown is an example of a training discard. So we're going to be trying to find the cheapest lazy seller price that I could sell a 91 overall for. So what I would do is just go quality 90 to 91. It's a very simple process, right? This isn't some hidden overall or hidden price you got to find. It's very simple. So 90 overall. So right now we're looking for the cheapest 91 overall on the generic 90 to 91 filter, because if someone were just to buy a 91 for exact training, they might just go and go quality 90, 91 and buy the cheapest 91. So we're scrolling, we're seeing nothing really popping up at 60k. You can see the first one is at Mel Renfro 91 at 61.35k with 19 minutes left remaining. I'm expecting that card to be bought really soon. The next thing we're going to find is what overall, or what price at 91 overall are cards actually expiring for. You can see an AJ Green has about, I'd say 15 minutes left at 64k. It's a little squinty on my screen. Frank Wycheck at about 65k, but it looks like the cheapest guy looks to be about 63k that's actually expiring. So I'd list this card for 62.6k, and it's not a lot of coins, right? We're going from 58 to 62, but it adds up. If you do this with every single card you pull, you get from solos, you get in rerolls, if you get an extra 5 to 10% on every single card, the coin, it's just going to be minimizing your losses when it comes to rerolls and maximizing every coin you get. I promise you, in order to be really good with coins, you got to be detail oriented when it comes to coin making in terms of selling, buying, everything you do with the Madden. The details matter. So you can see I'm going to list this up for 62.6k for 1 hour. Hopefully you guys are going to take this kind of nugget of information and use it to your advantage. Some of the, like I said, some of the smartest people I know when it comes to Madden love doing this with pretty much any card they are trying to sell. It just gets you an extra 10 to 15% on pretty much every single card. So if you enjoyed the video, if you have any questions about lazy selling, comment. Of course, like if you enjoy this, helped, subscribe if you're new. The link to Discord is in the description as always, and I'll be streaming later tonight. I think this is gonna be the only video today. No Money Spent will be out Sunday. At playoff prediction video will be out Monday along with Market Monday, but that's gonna be the only video today. So until tomorrow, peace.